Hello and welcome to the Justeve Show. It's been an amazing ride so far. And each week we have an outstanding guest. I'm borrowing that word outstanding from a friend of mine who I've termed outstanding himself. But anyway, my guest on the show today is a hip-hop artist. He has an extraordinary story to tell from where he's coming from. I'll just say a little bit for someone who went to the University of Oxford, turns out to be a hip-hop artist. I'm very excited to find out how that came about. Please join me as I welcome Zuby onto the Justeve Show.
How you doing?
Good to have you on the show.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
You take a seat, my
sure
love.
Thing. Oh.
Okay. I would normally go back to your childhood, but let's talk about this Oxford University thing first of all. So tell us, what did you study in Oxford?
I studied computer science.
Can you imagine?
I'm a computer science graduate, yeah. Not what you'd expect from a rapper, but yeah, that's what I studied.
Okay. Now, it's not too surprising because virtually all the guests I've had on the show have studied something different from what they're practicing at the moment.
Okay.
But I was particularly intrigued by you because it's hip-hop, you know?
Yeah.
So let's go back really to the beginning, your growing up years, what were they like and stuff like that.
Okay, so I actually grew up in the Middle East. I grew up in Saudi Arabia.
I noticed.
Yeah. So you can probably hear with my accent, it's a little different to most people's. I've been asked just today about 10 times probably if I'm American.
And it's actually sexy, really. So I'm allowed to say that now. I've been trying not to. I mean, like, okay, Evelyn, behave yourself. So I can actually say now that is very sexy. So you're gonna have to forgive me.
That's
I'm
okay.
gonna try as hard as I can to keep my composure every time you speak.
Yeah, so I lived there for about 19 years. My parents used to work over there. So yeah, I moved there, must have been when I was 1, so when I was a baby. So I don't really remember moving there. All my earliest memories are in Saudi Arabia.
In Saudi Arabia. So what, you went to school there?
Yeah, I went to school there until I was 11, and then I came over to the UK, and I was back and forth between the two countries throughout my entire secondary school education and also in university as well.
Where are you from originally?
Originally, I don't know. In what sense? Where I was born?
Yeah.
I was born in Luton.
Okay.
I was born in Luton.
Your parents, where are they from?
Nigeria. Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, Nigeria.
Nigeria, Luton, Saudi Arabia, England.
Yeah.
What a
so
journey.
I'm a British Nigerian who grew up in Saudi Arabia. I think that's the most succinct way to say it.
Okay, you choose to be a British Nigerian, not a Nigerian British.
Which? I don't know. Either one works. I've never thought about it. I tend to say British Nigerian.
Yeah, only teasing.
I don't know.
Only teasing. Yeah. So went to school there, came to the UK, went to Oxford University, studied computer science. What did you do after that?
This is a little known story because not everyone knows this, but I actually, after I graduated, I took a year and did my music full time for 1 year. Mm-hmm. And then after that, because I already had a job offer from a consulting company before I left university, so I'd actually deferred it for a year to take that year off to release my second album and to work on my music. Then after that, I moved to London. I started working in the corporate world as a consultant for a couple of years. I did that for 3 years up until 2011. So I was based in London, worked in a few different cities as well. But yeah, I did that whilst juggling my music stuff on the side. And pretty much what happened is...
How were you able to juggle that? Because working in consulting, that's quite demanding.
It wasn't easy. But that's why when it came to 2011, both careers were progressing to a degree where they were starting to clash and interfere with each other. And, I had to look into my heart of hearts and think, okay, what is it that I really want to be doing in 20 years' time, 30 years' time? Do I want to be in an office doing this? Or do I want to be doing something completely different? And it wasn't actually a really hard decision for me to make to pursue my music full time. It was certainly took some courage, and to a lot of outsiders it seemed like a risk, but to me it was really the obvious thing to do, and it was the right thing to do. I think maybe not everybody, but if you feel like you have a calling in life and you've been given specific talents, which I knew I had, I've got an ability to write songs and perform, which not everybody has, and I think it's a shame to have that ability and to not try to at least fulfill your potential in it. And I know I can reach and impact a lot more way more people through my music than I could through consulting or doing pretty much anything in the corporate world. And ultimately, you know, I'm getting deep now. You know, if I think to the future towards my legacy, you know, I want my legacy to be like, wow, you know, that person impacted, you know, thousands and millions of people.
Where are your parents? Are they here or are they in Nigeria?
My parents are in the UK.
They're in the UK here. Yeah. Now, there's a reason why I'm asking this. As African parents, I was just telling someone not too long ago that what I'm doing now, I knew that it was what I wanted to do, and my parents didn't like it at all. They wanted me to read law, but most African parents want you to either read law, do medicine, engineering, you know, that kind of thing. Did you have that kind of problem?
Well, I guess I did go to Oxford, and I did get a computer science degree, right?
For them.
So
was that for them? Or
no, that wasn't for them. That wasn't for them. That was I did what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And keep in mind, I didn't start making music until I was in Oxford. So I wasn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wasn't making music.
But you knew
when I went to university.
You had those musical tendencies.
No, not really. Not really. No, I played piano when I was younger, but it wasn't until I was in university that I even started rapping. So when I went to university, I had no idea that I was going to end up becoming a full-time musician. It wasn't even on the radar. So I went there and I studied, and then while I was there, I discovered I had this talent.
Okay, tell us about that discovery.
Okay, so I've been listening to hip hop and rap since I was probably about 11 or 12, and I'd say maybe been really into it since I was 13 or 14. So I used to just, you know, the whole time while I was in school and everything, myself and my close circle of friends, we were all really into hip hop and rap. So we used to listen to and buy like everything that was coming out. And then the way I started rapping was I was actually traveling. I think I was in one of the main airport in Paris, actually. Funnily enough, I was flying from the UK to Nigeria, and I was by myself. I think the flight got delayed. I had pretty much 20 hours to kill.
Oh, wow.
And I was by myself, and I had my, this was even an MP3 player with me. I was gonna say mini disc, but no, it was an MP3 player. And I just started writing. You could call it poetry, you could call it rap, whatever. I just started writing some stuff, and it came actually fairly naturally. Like I wasn't stressing my brain trying to work out the rhymes or anything like that. I just started writing. I'm sure if I go back and read now what I was writing, I wouldn't be too impressed with it. But you know, I think the content was always there. And then I just started doing it for fun. So it just became a hobby. And when I got back to university, one of my good friends, Chris, had a studio in his dorm room. And so I used to go in there and we'd record some tracks. I'd get beats off the internet. And I'd either freestyle on them or just write a little something and rap. And I started sharing those songs with my close circle, family, university friends, things like that, and got positive feedback. I don't know if it was people just saying it was good because they liked me or if it was actually good. But it was.
Asked me, I would say that, oh, good.
But it was certainly encouraging. It was encouraging. And then when I was in my first year. And then when I was in my second year, I released my first album, Commercial Underground. So I had enough tracks recorded to put something together. So I did that, did some research about how to actually make a CD. I got it all packaged up, got the front cover and everything done. And I sold that around my university. And then the summer vacation, I used to go out on the streets in London and Oxford, Bournemouth, different cities, and just go out there and talk to people, play people my music and sell it, and that worked. You know, I sold a couple thousand copies of that CD.
Okay, let me ask. Now, when you've achieved this much in university after graduation, why did you still want to go back into the corporate world? Were you not? That's a
good question. That's a good question. No, I was selling records. I think because I already had the job offer before I graduated. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take this, but let me do my music full time for a year, because I actually had my second album written before I finished university.
But isn't that strange? You said, let me put this job offer on hold.
Let me put it on hold,
for a year to do your music.
Yeah.
And then you did the music and then
I
went back to it?
Yeah, I did. Maybe some of it was, I think some of it was just practical in terms of, all right, I need some money. and I need to do X, Y, Z. You know, I mean, I was selling my music, but it wasn't
enough.
It wasn't yet at a level where it was like
could,
where I was confident. Okay, I can make a living from this. It was okay. You know, I can sell some stuff and make some money, but it wasn't like, okay, yeah, this is fine. Like that's all I need to do. And also maybe a little bit of, realistically, if I'm honest, probably maybe a little bit of self-doubt as well. You know, I mean, I probably could have gone. I probably could have gone and proceeded with it. But yeah, it just seemed like at the time it definitely seemed like the wise thing to do. And I don't have any regrets about that because I think I actually gained some stuff from working in that environment. I gained some skills and abilities in terms of the way I conduct my business now that I think that helped me with just in terms of the professionalism and knowing how to communicate with all different kinds of people and send out professional emails and all that kind of stuff. Because I think a lot of people think being an artist is just about making music. Making music is the easy part. If you're doing it full,
the biz of the show business that's really important.
If you're doing it full time, if you're doing it as a hobby, you can just focus on the music. You don't need to worry about generating an income or building a fan base or anything like that so much. But if it's what you do as a career, then you need to maintain that creative side, but you do also need to think sometimes with the business and marketing hat. And not everyone is able to do both of those things, but fortunately, I'm able to.
Now, do you have any siblings?
I've got 4.
You've got 4. Any of them into music?
No, not at all.
So you're the only one?
I'm the only musician.
Your parents, no?
My mom's a good singer.
Okay.
My mom's a good singer. She's never, done it as a career or anything like that. But in my immediate family, I'm the only musician. Yeah.
Okay. Now, they knew that you were in the corporate world, and did they? Well, I know that you're an adult. The decisions you make for your life at this point are clearly yours. But did they have any doubts that why are you leaving something that is termed security for insecurity? You didn't have any of that from them, or probably
strangely not that much actually from my family. But from other people, to be honest, from anyone who knew me properly, like anyone who knows me well, I don't think it was a surprise. I don't think it was a surprise at all. Anyone in my family, any of my close friends, I don't think anyone was surprised I made that decision. I think they saw it on the horizon. To an outsider who's just looking at it on a factual basis and is completely emotionally detached from it, then it might seem like a weird move to go from you've got a good paying job here with lots of scope for growth to then go and do something as, I guess, unstable as music. But like I said, when you've got a calling, I think I view the world in a certain way, and I think if you have a calling, then I think God gives people, I believe in God, and I think God gives people talent for a reason.
Yes, for a reason.
Right?
And when you were talking, and when you said, I was going to say, when you your flight in Paris, from Paris to Nigeria was delayed and you were at the airport for 20-something hours, I think that was God saying at that particular time that, okay, this is the time to, be focused. I know why I'm saying this, because when I was a little girl, I think I was about 7, it had rained, right, in our back garden, and there was a pool of water in the back garden, and the sun shone on it. It was so beautiful. I can actually still picture it. And I just kept going, oh, this is so beautiful, with my 7-year-old voice. It's lovely. Oh, it's so nice. And my dad came out and was like, what's wrong with her? Probably thinking that I was delusional or something. But looking back to how far I've come in my career, in what I do in entertainment, I knew that was God that was telling me, you're going to be in the creatives. Do you get where I'm coming from? So that period when you were talking, I was like, oh, that was God telling you that this is your time to set the ball rolling properly.
Definitely.
I think that.
I think it's always good to talk to other creative people and people who are doing this stuff, I guess you could say, which is outside of the normal spectrum in terms of what people think of as jobs or occupations. Because I think there's certain things that only another artist or another creative person or even an entrepreneur can really get, because you're always going to think in a certain way and act in a certain way that almost by definition that is different from the norm.
Yeah, people won't get it.
As much as I think sometimes, as much as everyone tries to get it and wants to get, I think sometimes you need to be in those shoes. Like there's no substitute for the actual experience of the ups and downs and what keeps you going. It's really hard to explain to someone who doesn't have that drive or passion for for something in particular.
Okay, so you came out of the corporate world, started your music. What steps did you take to build your album, your music as a whole?
Okay, first thing, I bought a van. And I wrapped it in purple and put my logo on it. So like it's called the Zuby tank. I've still got it. It's still it brought me here today. So I got my branded van, and then I used to just fill it up with CDs, and I travel literally the length and breadth of the entire UK, promoting myself in town centers.
By myself,
solo. Playing people, just like how I sold my first album. I knew that method worked. So I used to just go out there and literally from Bournemouth to Glasgow, in fact, Isle of Wight to Glasgow, Swansea to Norwich, and everywhere in the middle. I've been to pretty much every town and city in the UK, and people can vouch for that. Just going out there, talking to people, selling literally one by one, meeting people, shaking hands, selling my CDs. So building my fan base whilst also generating an income that I could live off of. So that was really the core of it for several years. I also started to build out my merchandise range, so I'm down with Zuby t-shirts. I was selling those in university, but
you're gonna let me have one?
Increased those. We can talk after this.
Did you actually say that?
Yeah, we'll talk. I need to know your size. I need to know what color. I can't just.
I'm gonna tell you right here.
Okay. You need to see the selection. You know what I mean? We've got a lot of them. And yeah, so selling the CDs was really that was the core of it to begin with.
I actually like how, because now you've actually personalized it.
Yeah.
You've gone and met someone and said, oh, listen to this is me, and that has, for me, I think that's fantastic. But it must have been a lot of work, you know?
Gosh, yeah. That's one thing I'm not remotely afraid of, though, is work.
Is work. Well done.
I've accepted that if I want to achieve what I want to achieve in this world, I'm going to need to work like crazy. You know what I mean? I haven't chosen an easy path. There's much easier paths that I could take. If my goal in life was just to earn a living and be somewhat successful, then all arrogance aside, that's relatively easy to me. But if my goal is to impact thousands or millions of people and to do it in a way that I want to and in a creative way, then that's a much bigger challenge. So that's the challenge and goal I've set up for myself.
Well done. We're going to have to take a break now. We'll take this quick break and we'll be back right after this.
Time go gets we grind. Gotta get mine, do better than try. Aim so high, jet set we fly. Flow fine wine gets better with time. High in the sky like the birds of the fire. Got my feet on the ground, and my head to the sky. And I speak never shy. All the creeps on the vine don't get no reply if you speak about I. Cause I'm all about the timing. Nina, I'm feeling good. Singing like Jesse Johnson. I'm so misunderstood. Singing like Jesse, singing like Jesse Johnson. Feeling good, feeling good. They won't forget about me.
Zuby is a hip-hop artist who was born in England, grew up in Saudi Arabia, and is a graduate of the prestigious University of Oxford. Through years of hard work and dedication, he has become one of the UK's most accomplished independent rappers, with over 23,000 albums sold and 3 nationwide tours completed. His intelligent wordplay, inspirational lyrics, and distinct voice have earned Zuby a loyal fan base. To date, he has reached over 850,000 YouTube views, 22,000 Facebook fans, and 13,000 Twitter followers. He is also one of the first British artists to open his own pop-up shops, where he sells his music, merchandise, and own brand of wireless headphones. Zuby is an experienced live performer with over 100 gigs to date. He has performed all over the UK as well as in the US, Germany, Czech Republic, Estonia, Serbia, and Saudi Arabia. He has also supported many well-known artists including Tech N9ne, among others. Several of his songs have received airplay on BBC radio stations including BBC 6, BBC South, BBC Oxford, BBC Norfolk, and BBC Essex. He has also received spins on many regional, national, and international radio stations. I don't know what to call him now, because he refused to give me a t-shirt.
I didn't refuse. I said we'll talk after. We'll talk off camera.
No, but you see, but if we could talk on camera, then I can hold you to it, because the whole nation will watch it.
Okay.
You know. But talking off camera, you know, it's not. Anyway. Okay, 23,000 albums.
Yeah, it's a lot.
For how long have you been doing this?
Oh, gosh. What, selling CDs?
Yeah, well, I mean, for you to have been able to sell 23,000 albums.
Well, based on this, like I was saying, it's been
how long?
It's been on and off, so that hasn't been. I mean, the vast majority of those have been in the last 5 years.
In the last 5 years, that's
majority.
still a lot,
Yeah.
man.
So,
And you've done it on your own.
Yeah, that's individual. That's out of my own 2 hands. I've directly sold that many CDs.
No record label.
No, I'm not signed.
Okay. Okay, and to date you've had over 850,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah, around that. Yeah,
they're about that.
On my channel, yeah.
You know what? I'm trying to get my head around how you alone are doing this. You don't have any management?
No, I manage myself.
You manage yourself?
Yeah, always have.
Is there a reason why you've wanted to do this all by yourself? Or do you have plans to get others on board to help you?
It's a combination of necessity and desire. So that's the best way to put it. So as an artist, from the beginning, my focus was on building my fan base, really. It wasn't necessarily on trying to get signed or trying to get a manager or trying to impress this person or that person within the music industry. So, you know, I just took the reins and was like, okay, I'm just going to do this and steer my career. And as time progressed, I mean, I don't really even feel, there's very rare times when I even feel like I need a manager. Like if I had a manager, I don't really know, unless they were just supremely connected and could hook me up with stuff that I couldn't, then I don't really know what they'd be doing.
Others would say you're arrogant.
I don't think that's arrogant at all.
Well, that's what people would say. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I just think that it's a drive, it's a passion that you want, and you're going to have to do it if you have to do it yourself. Yeah. And it's very, very difficult getting music, getting airplay on like BBC, for instance.
It is.
And you've had it in Oxford, not Essex. How did you do that?
Again, personal, making those connections. I think first of all, making good music, I think, is the core of stuff. I'd like to think I make dope music. But yeah, with most of those, again, it's been personal connections. I mean, shout out to the DJs on those stations and presenters who have supported what I do, because there are, you know, a lot of people who do and a lot of people who don't. So I'm grateful for each individual who does. But in terms of getting that, it's pretty much been, I'm in, say, Norwich selling my CDs, and maybe I'll meet someone from the station, or I'll be in the city for a couple of days and go in there, and you know, you're talking to people. I'm always talking to people.
Okay,
So
for instance.
Yeah.
Now you're on the train.
Okay.
right? And you're sitting next to somebody.
Yeah.
How does this conversation like? Hello, I'm Zuby. I'm a hip hop artist.
On the train?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't tend to hustle on trains, but
Okay, so
I have sold CDs on trains, though. I've sold CDs in an airplane before. I've sold CDs in an airplane before. Yeah, definitely on trains. But not like going out there specifically to do that. I'll be on my way somewhere.
so you're not a shy person.
No, not at all. Not at all. That's the point.
I'd need to get some skills from you because you take these cameras away, I'm just rubbish. I'm
Oh, really?
so shy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to say hello if you don't say hello to me first.
Oh, really?
It's really that bad.
Honestly, it's practice. As in, the first time I ever went out to sell my CDs just to strangers, to the public, I was shook. I was like, whoa, I'm way out of my depth here. How do I do this? And then I spoke to one person, and then I was like, okay, if I can talk to one person, I can talk to a second one. And after about an hour, I was just talking to everyone, and it wasn't really that bad. I look at it like strangers are friends you haven't met yet.
Yeah. That's a nice way.
That's how I look at it. So when I came here today, I didn't know anyone here today, but you just say, oh, hey, what's up? Introduce yourself, and you can do that to anyone.
Fantastic.
You don't even need to be, you don't need to have a motive or whatever. You just say,
I agree with you totally. Just that some of us are not cut out to.
I think you've got it in you.
Okay.
Maybe you need a reason, though. I had a reason. My reason was,
Say so.
if I'm here, I've got a bag full of CDs. If I don't talk to anybody, I'm not going to sell any of them.
anybody. Yeah.
So-
Point. Okay. Tell us about the seven. The seven. This is your latest. Is it your latest project?
my latest release, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so 7 is an EP I released on the 7th last year, 7th of July. It's an EP produced by a guy called Evelyn Obahor. He's someone I've worked with since my very first release. So it's a 7-track EP. I actually recorded it just in about a day and a half. I record fast. Yeah. Didn't write it in a day and a half, but recorded it very quickly. And yeah, it's a collection of songs with a it has a very particular sound to it. It's quite epic and orchestral. So what I tend to do is with my albums, I'll put together a bigger range of different kinds of music on it, and lots of different themes and topics in terms of the lyrics. But with my EPs, they tend to have a particular sound to them. So I had an EP called Zubstep, for example, which was a blend of hip hop and dubstep. So the whole sound on it is dubstep, somewhat electronic, very bass heavy. So it's got a particular sound. With 7, I went more for an orchestral, epic sort of vibe, and by just working with a single producer on it, it gives it that feel throughout the whole thing. So I like to make a big range of different music. And yeah, my next single and later singles this year are going to be pretty different to that. But I like to keep myself somewhat open, like in terms of my lyrical content and my overall message. I try to keep that consistent. But in terms of production styles and things like that, I'm happy to experiment a little bit.
Well done. We're going to have to take a break now. We'll take this quick break and we'll be back right after this.
Bad man. Are you down with Zuby? Yeah. Team Zuby, stand up. Desire to inspire. Evelyn Obahor. Let's go get him, bro. 7. You can put your hands up, let the ceiling go rain. Got a couple bands up, only sealing my pain. Wearing mad cats, see the feel of my flames. Scurry like a lab ready, you're finna get main. Why you so mad? Cause I top that page, honey, stock backstage when I rock that stage. Being more glad if they lock that cage, and I cock back rage, and I pop that gauge. Unemotional, I never drop that frame. Locomotion, and you can't stop that train. Couple females, do a point to derail, won't go into detail, but I drop that flame. Wait, let me top that game. Big name watch, drop top frame, with a clock more fame. If I chop cocaine while I pop champagne on a goddamn plane. Sipping it Cecily, mixed with majesty, lipping it lavishly. This is a travesty. I think the new epidemic is vanity. You think your selfies are good for humanity. I'm getting better, the proof no profanity. Y'all getting better on too many calories. Still shooting up from the boots to the canopy. Still moving up, but stay grounded like gravity. Verbal veracity, lyrical mastery, artist tenacity, vicious audacity. I'm not a scrapper who's charged like a battery. I'm an attacker who's calm and calamity. Rapping so swift that his radio blasts me. If they don't play it, I'll reach for the mantelpiece. See something supple and slap them with savagery. Get away cleaning the plea for insanity. Yeah.
Okay, can I ask how old you are?
I'm 30.
30. So you have, it's fair to say that you have been through the school of life in terms of what you do.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I want to ask you, now, young people out there want to do, I know there are a lot of young people who want to be like you, do what you do, but don't know how.
Okay.
Right? Now, for the past how many minutes or so, I've listened to you talk. I think the norm is, okay, I get a manager, get a record label, but you've done it on your own. And from the way you're talking, I don't think you ever would.
I'm not completely close to the idea. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm happy for people to help me. You know, like, I like help, but I don't. There's a difference between appreciating people helping you and being completely at the mercy of other people.
Yes, I think that's what you don't want.
Yeah, and I think way too many artists put themselves at the mercy of the industry. I mean, look at X Factor, look at The Voice. All these people going on these shows. You're completely putting your entire, future and opportunity to success in other people's hands.
So you don't like any of those reality shows?
I can't stand any of them. I can't stand them. I really dislike them. I dislike them. I'm not afraid to say that. I just think it gives both artists and the public a very false impression of what the music industry is.
Yeah.
All about.
I agree with you there.
It's a great business model. I respect the business model. I look at Simon Cowell, like, great business, like, smashed it. But he's the one, he's the one really reaping the rewards from that show over the past decade. A couple people, some people have had some success from it, of course. Like, I don't discount that. But for the vast majority, and especially if you're not a pop artist, if you're a rapper or a band or, someone playing guitar or something like that, it's not even the right route to take anyway. I can see for a small range of types of artists it could make sense. Especially if you flip it. I mean, funnily enough, the people who have done well off of it are often, firstly, the people who haven't won, but the people who have then used that exposure and that platform to then go and do their own thing. They've done that intelligently.
I actually watch it religiously even from the first one, and if I have a favorite, I'll say, please don't win.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
But I guess now, I guess what you're trying to say is that you don't need to depend on all these people. They do help, but you can make it. You can do it on your own.
Absolutely. And I think easy come, easy go. If you take a long time to build something and really cultivate relationships and learn the ins and outs of all the different aspects. I mean, I feel like I know stuff. I know how to do stuff that a rapper doesn't really even have any business knowing how to do. Like, I built my own websites and learned the e-commerce, like this jacket. I'm like, all this stuff. Like, I didn't know how to make hats and jacket. Like, I've designed this, and I don't consider myself a clothing designer, but that's just stuff I've learned on the way
again, because
in terms of how to do it.
Your corporate experience as well.
Maybe a tiny bit, but a lot of it is just been learning on the job. But I think the great thing about doing it independently is then, even if later down the line, I mean, I don't plan on my entire career handling everything myself, but even if I did bring someone on board, for example, to help me with certain aspects, then at least I've done it before, so I can instruct them on, some aspect of it. What a lot of artists do is maybe they've never managed themselves, maybe they've never booked their own show, maybe they've never planned their own merch, maybe they've never done a t-shirt run, so they don't even know how to get t-shirts printed. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's
I get you, because
you know how to do the things.
For me personally, I sit in front of the camera, but I can operate the camera.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing about production that I can't do.
Yeah.
What I can't physically do is edit, but I know what each software can give you.
Exactly.
So if I say to an editor, for instance, I want you to give me this, and he says, you can't give me, I ask what software. And point. Very, very valid.
Yeah, it's good to know. You don't need to know the ins and outs of everything. That's overkill.
But you should have an idea.
Yeah, but it's good to have an idea of how the various bits of what you're doing work, so that you can, like I said, you can instruct other people, or if something goes wrong, if one of the lights or the camera is not in the right place, you can have the knowledge to say, okay, no, we need to move this here, or just little things like that.
Fantastic. Unfortunately, we have to go. I got through it, that voice. But just before you go, so come into this camera for me, please. That would inspire the young ones. Have I made you shy?
No.
It was hard work for me.
I can't blush.
It doesn't matter, you blush somehow. Say something into that camera for me, please.
Say something into the camera.
Yeah, for the
anything
young
in
ones.
particular? Or?
You know, anything that
Oh,
would
right, okay.
inspire the young ones.
Okay. Yo, what's up? It's Zuby. To anyone who's watching, any young people, I just want to say, it might sound cliche, but if you've got a dream, go after it. Follow it. Learn, study, learn from other people, and just don't give up. Motivation through the rhythm. Know that every verse is conscious and is treated with precision. So when you see the light, you say I'm ill with no rescission, and I told you that already, but was greeted with derision. Been spending all my time perfecting optimal lines, and I don't work a 9 to 5, it's not an optional grind. With the dopest innovation from my optimist mind, I made a focused transformation to my optimist prime. So you might see me zoning out backstage where the stars be, or wilding out in Europe while I'm chasing the star screams. Industry is Megatron, Zuby is a megadon. I'm iller than the hip, I'm stacking power like it's Energon.
Is that one of your, or you made that?
That's actually from one of my songs. I was there like thinking, oh, I hope I remember this. Yeah, that's from one of my songs.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
Can I give you a hug?
Of course you can.
Okay, so that I can breathe. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're very welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, okay. Sit down. Just wait. I got through that, actually. That voice, oh gosh. Thank you so much for watching the show today. I'm sure you had a lot of fun. And this gentleman here is truly an inspiration to the young ones, to me even, that, you know, you can do it, even if you have to do it all by yourself. I remain Evelyn Obahor. I'm definitely sure we're going to do this sometime next time. Till then, goodbye and God bless.